26 weeks, 182 and a half days, or
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
6 months!
6 months.
the amount of time that Rockstar Games chose to play with our lives, delaying their undisputed preeminent IP for yet another 6 months. Put up to quality concerns during development, having been initially set for late fall this year, in their May 2nd announcement, a new concrete release date of May 26, 2026 has been released to the public. As soon as I got the notification from developers, social media was already in an uproar for this delay. Since the release of GTA 5 more than a dozen years ago at this point, this has been the most anticipated and prolonged wait for a Rockstar titles since, well, forever. Though we have now gotten accustomed to the 10 years development cycles for their newer, essentially flawless masterpieces. Things haven't always been this way. In 1997, when Rockstar Games was just a crazed fever dream for the Hauser brothers, before Take-Two Interactive, the corporation behind 2K Studios, created Rockstar Games as another powerhouse gaming label, Grand Theft Auto was released to PCs and then later ported to PlayStation and the Game Boy Color in '97 by BMG Interactive. Its acquisition in '98 provided adequate resources and expertise to form Rockstar Games just a few months later in '99. Since then, they've been a juggernaut in action games, bringing to the industry countless innovations and advancements, taking free-roam gaming through a couple of complete overhauls, from bringing players into a fully realized 3D world and third-person perspective in GTA 3, to the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine Rage for GTA 4, bringing significant advancements to open-world game development in areas like physics, graphic rendering, as well as the use of AI generation and semi-intelligent NPCs, enabling more detailed and interactive environments than ever before, and complex gameplay mechanics with heists and other missions throughout the story, just to show you how innovative and breathtaking the Rage engine was. The same software is still used in classics from Rockstar like GTA 5 and the entirety of the Red Dead Redemption series even today.
We got enough money to leave. What do you think?
As the long-awaited gaming behemoth begins its media runs for the upcoming rendition to their franchise that took the world by storm, in just 27 and a half years, they become a household staple among the likes of EA,
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Ubisoft, and Activision. With an estimated $22.75 billion in net worth, Rockstar Games is quickly becoming a gargantuan force to be reckoned with. From upgraded environment interaction to new jiggle mechanics and a revolutionary dual protagonist control system. During heists and many other checkpoint missions, Grand Theft Auto 6 has become one of the most talked about and hyped up game releases of the century. No wonder both the trailer that came out on December 4th, 2023, then May 6, 2025, together have racked up close to 400 million views and counting.
Seriously, dude, you got some time on your hands. I got some properties with K and 10.
From the early 2D Tokyo Drift-esque driving simulator days of GTA, Rockstar Gaming and its subsidiaries have come a long way in their domination of pop culture, popularizing the open-world gaming genre and defining its modern form. Though, with the literal hundreds of open-world titles out since GTA 3, with many Fortune 100 companies milking the nostalgia built from classic franchises like Harry Potter,
Take this. Find them.
Star Wars, and
The Empire?
even Mad Max. With little and sometimes no experience in game development, the studio behind Hogwarts Legacy had only prior experience in the Disney Infinity games, and hadn't developed any AAA titles before that.
Gang, remember me?
The genre itself also gives way to repetition, as there's only so much you can progress on in sequels when your first title already gave players everything there is to do in that universe. With franchises like Far Cry, Metal Gear Solid, and Fallout, each having 5 or more titles in its lineup with relatively similar concepts as they come from the same universe. The term open world fatigue has been coined as a response to this essential recycling of content, where many players have been slowly opting out of playing open worlds altogether, as they continue to become increasingly mainstream, leading to a resurgence of multiplayer indie games like Among Us, Rocket League, and Overcooked amongst younger player bases. This revival marks a stark change from the community perspective had on these titles just a decade ago. Seen as a fresh new take on gaming, allowing players to explore all facets of a universe to the T, allowing full immersion into franchises we've been so desperately craving to take part in. Initially, open-world multiplayer games were even thought to alleviate social isolation, as the vast explorable environments offer a sense of freedom and escape, allowing exploration while also socializing with fellow fans. Though, with the evolution of modern open-world games, the focus has shifted to graphical superiority, dopamine rushes through rewards, and solo exploration. The compounding evolution of software also meant that developers had bigger and bigger map sizes to play with, which only added onto this isolation effect on players. The time spent immersed in these virtual worlds also led to decreased real-world social interaction, and feelings of loneliness or IRL isolation. No wonder so many of us are now opening our consoles or Steam and letting it just sit on the homepage with nothing on the screen catching any particular interest. Once bringing us such joy when we were younger, now just a chore or convenient passing of time. Grand Theft Auto wasn't always the fully immersive open world where players complete missions to progress through an overall story or log on with friends and just fuck around, doing just about anything in the digital cities among their titles. However, back in the 90s, the original GTA was conceived as a cops and robbers game called Race and Chase. Though after several reshuffles and a Fortune 500 company's funding at their disposal, Rockstar Games and Grand Theft Auto was born. Even back then, as its first released, GTA broke the record for the longest running game on the UK charts where it was developed, maintaining a top 20 position for at least 76 weeks following. For a virgin developing studio, this was unheard of in gaming, leading to a close sequel after to be the logical move. Our team wasted no time and quickly came out with the sequel, Grand Theft Auto 2, in 1999, with improved graphics for the 2D action-adventure driving simulator. What else was new was the entry of 4 multiplayer modes: Deathmatch, TDM, Race, and Tag, reminiscent of the GTA Live we have today. Just 2 years after that, in 2001, Grand Theft Auto 3 releases, the revolutionary franchise-defining entry into the GTA series, solidifying Rockstar as a new emerging dynamo in the gaming sphere. Being the first game of its kind to feature a third-person POV gameplay, this new and enhanced over-the-shoulder camera for free roam also marks the start of society's fascination with open-world games and the replication of mundane activities in digital form. This was also when the wanted level system was introduced as a core staple for what the franchise is now, shifting from an once motor emulator to now a 3D open-world city. With the novelty of open-world gaming in the early 2000s, along with the infancy of Rockstar Games, our developer was out to make a name for themselves. And with back-to-back-to-back bangers, each raising the bar for what open-world games could be at the time, only a year later, GTA Vice City was released in 2002. Before then, a bulk of their fanbase were captivated by the graphics and mechanics of GTA. Being still considered in the driving category, there was nothing quite like the experience you get from hopping into Liberty City and just going ham. Vice City was the first title to bring in their occult fanbase that we know of fondly today. Set in the same exact fictional city of Miami as GTA 6, even though graphics and gameplay hadn't fared much from GTA 3, the inclusion of a progressive story where players complete main and side missions to unlock more playable areas, as well as in-game currency, was an abrupt change from the chaos of the 3 open-world titles before it. Foot hot on the gas, Rockstar continued this 2-year release schedule, and with the momentous success of the GTA series, offloaded its entire development to a subsidiary developer, Rockstar North, releasing GTA San Andreas in 2004. Now, you could argue these were more like DLCs, as all being considered titles of the GTA 3 era, using essentially the same graphics and mechanics from the first Liberty City title. However, coming up with a genuine intricate storyline for players to fall in love with every 2 years is impressive no matter how you look at it. As its footholds on the industry grew, San Andreas marked the last title to follow this 2-year formula, and GTA 4 was released this time 4 years later in 2008. Even back then, there were rumors of the change in release schedule, and before announcement of the next title, many even feared the end of an institution. However, Rockstar North had been cooking. In those 4 years, they were developing a patented, advanced gaming engine called Rage, elevating gameplay to new heights of realism and rendering more detail than ever before. All doubts and fears were hushed as GTA 4 with this new engine garnered critical praise and acclaim as a new high-quality reimagining of Liberty City, helping the title become the highest grossing video game in 24 hours of release, as well as the highest revenue generated by an entertainment product in 24 hours period flat out, grossing $310 million in its first day alone in 2008. The doubling of development time meant that Rockstar North was able to include a brand new first-person POV mode, again revolutionizing the genre and industry, paving the stepping stones for future VR capabilities. September 17th, 2013, the biggest gaming event of the decade, Rockstar Games releases Grand Theft Auto 5. Right off the bat, GTA 5 sets the record for the fastest entertainment property to reach $1 billion in sales in just the first 3 days. By the end of its first week, they had sold well over 16 million copies, making $1.15 billion in revenue during that period. Being the most graphically advanced game of its era, taking advantage of Rockstar's patented, improved Rage graphics engine, offered it an enormous game environment simulating Southern California, more immense than any game before its time, with improved AI, dense traffic, a wide variety of air, land, and sea vehicles to play around with, weather effects, and so much more. Rockstar took excessive advantage of new-gen capabilities of the time, with PS4 and Xbox One coming out only a few months after its initial drop. With a simultaneous new-gen drop on November 18, 2014, Rockstar literally swept through the globe, encompassing any and everyone who played video games. By the end of 2013, in just 3 months, GTA 5 had sold well over 32.5 million copies, making it the clear best-selling game of that year across every single platform imaginable, objectively granting them the hysteria and attention that they're receiving now for GTA 6, only a little under a year out from release. Right after breaking these unimaginable records, the dev team got straight into story development in 2014, and since then, with multiple footage leaks, security breaches, and trailers coming out, these only corroborate the legitimacy of its hype. Hopefully, this return to Vice City accomplishes the same feats as its GTA 4 predecessor and Liberty City, with this new Bonnie and Clyde inspired narrative and dual mixed gendered protagonists, Lucia and Jason, gameplay enhancements, deeper customization options including a gym for physique alteration and unique weapon handling animations, as well as stealth mechanics with the ability to crawl, carry bodies, and a revamped weapon wheel like never before. It's looking like all of the best aspects of modern gaming innovations have been taken account and overhauled with a Rockstar kick to it. But definitely not in the way Assassin's Creed Valhalla did it, you know. Stretching out a story to that degree, just ugh.
First, dress to impress, then make an entrance.
If I hear "take care of yourself out there, drink plenty of fluids," again I swear I'm gonna lose it.
Take care of yourself out there, drink plenty of fluids.
And that includes Patrick CC. Don't tell me to stay hydrated. With game development, there's always been a fine line between excessive tediosity and fully immersing oneself into a gaming world. Open world games, the hit new genre of the 2000s, marked a leap in graphics and game developers' ability to create grand explorable realms for players to submerge themselves into, in which the most mundane everyday activities like chopping wood, fishing, cooking, farming, cleaning, or even just wandering around in admiring scenery are advertised to be enticing players to spend hundreds of dollars on not only the base games for many of these AAA titles, but also DLC, in-game currency, merch, and if they're really shitty, loot box aesthetic slot machines. The real saving swiper. Nah, it's the fact that I have multiple homies who have siblings scammed out of hundreds of dollars from in-game stores. It's actually insane. When you base the algorithms on literal addictive casino slot machines, it's no wonder kids are hooked onto these games like it's the 80s.
In the 80s, there was a lifestyle of celebration.
The open world genre of games is comparable to blockbuster movies. Sure, they threw a bunch of zeros after the first digit for production costs, and everything looks so crisp and clean. From first look, a masterpiece? But upon further inspection, many of these AAA open world titles have flaws underneath the surface, as these games have been some of the highest grossing titles of their kind, like GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Fallout 76. However, we still see many titles riddled with flaws like extraneously long travel between points on the map, an abundance of irrelevant side missions encompassing the same generic process you can't even skip to move on with the main story.
Hello, Mr. Moon.
Oh, greetings. Any luck removing some more of those demiguise statues?
Yeah, that one hits home. I'm talking to you, Avalanche Software. Or even some with completely rushed plots, telling for its focus on the use of its franchise itself.
So what do you want? Supercar? Big house? You want to rule this city?
Rather than creatively building upon it.
Anywhere without an
I mean, look at the arguably most successful open world franchise, GTA, whom has never relied on the story of a book or film to create its universes and protagonists for. The plateauing effect that progression of software has had with immersion is most apparent for open world games, as with the concept of the genre itself, there's only one true path to take, as the end goal would be a game world where its differences with reality are little to non-existent. Though the closer you get to that point with digital realism, contradictions begin to arise, as I doubt any player legitimately wants to sit through traffic in games to get to destinations, or have to eat 3 meals a day and maintain all aspects of a healthy digital body. That just seems repetitious. At that point, why isn't there a game where you literally play as a regular human being, going to work, finding love, taking care of your family, and even taking the trash out? And make it free, but the base game essentially unplayable without the boatload of DLC packs ranging from $19.99 to $39.99. Oh wait, that's already a thing. Thanks, EA. On the other side of the scale, you have minimal immersion open world games, and those end up as more inexpensive indie projects like Dig. Though notable in their own rights, bring on differing levels of immersion compared to the complex 3D open worlds we have out now. And their price tags express that as well. How can the open world market continuously evolve when the peak of evolution would mean a digital Walmart version of a regular human life in a game? Garnering the question for consumers, why do it in-game when you can experience it in real life? Now, I understand the market for these nostalgic franchises, for fans to enter in themselves to the universes we see in movies and TV. That'll always be there for AAA studios to divulge in, oftentimes bringing in aspects of fantasy and surrealism that one would not be able to experience in real life. Now, that's fine, and will most likely stay relevant within pop culture, but at some point, we're gonna run out of IPs to suck the life out of.
You need to leave!
Points to Slytherin.
What do we do then? The absolute domination of open world games the last few years have made it so that many other genres of games which really never called for a free roam aspect to improve upon these IPs are now starting to include such. Fighting games like Mortal Kombat and Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, once mimicking the systems of Street Fighter and other arcade-style fighters, have now incorporated open-world options or fully optimizing open-world lobbies within their games. With Storm 4's Adventure Mode and Conquest Mode in Mortal Kombat 1, both feeling a little unnecessary. Especially with the overall styles of the genre, the free roams between missions just feels like the gaming version of filler episodes in anime.
You snore so loud I can't sleep. Oh. Wait, Naruto, you have gotta wake up! This is not good!
With certain simulator-style games, open-world properties work, but either from a lack of developer experience or forced inclusion of the mechanic, many come out feeling less than genuine, or at least in some cases just a waste of time. Even with titles like No Man's Sky, With an utterly brilliant concept and nothing like anything we've ever seen before at first teaser, after a few years out from release, with many lackluster DLCs and updates, many among the player base feel desensitized by the sheer density and repetition in the galaxies. Even though theoretically, with the algorithm set in No Man's Sky, there are 18 quintillion planets, that's 18 with 18 zeros accompanying it, to be able to explore, each with technically all unique organisms and biomes. Though, with its 256 galaxy loop cycle, many planets as you explore the different galaxies feel like one-off variants of each other. Now given, even in science itself, with the Fermi paradox and multiverses theory alike, within astrophysics, if there are actual multiverses beside our own with life forms able to exist and populate their destined planets, the overlapping of anatomy and behaviors could be enormous. Or they could always just be flying sentient nimbuses, and not the Goku ones. I'm talking Morty's cloud. Yeah. But when you're looking at a video game universe, you want it to be less monotonous than the comparably predictable patterns of reality. Open world fatigue, or the feeling of weariness or disinterest that can arise from playing open world games, particularly when they feature large, often repetitive maps and quests, a term which would have been considered blasphemous if we were still in the early 2000s of gaming. However, as AAA studios flood in to get their own slice, that is the market for open world games at the moment, regardless of if due to desensitization, oversaturation of the market, or even just blatant laziness on the behalf of developers, many have begun voicing their disinterest for the genre altogether, providing a road for indie games to re-enter mainstream spotlight, as both content creators and consumers alike have slowly been shifting away from AAA open worlds. It's no surprise, as there are also biological and physiological contributors to the preference change, as studies have been popping up, including ones from Oxford University, contributing social isolation in players to open world style games. The more advanced these maps get and the more immersive these gaming universes become, this comes at a detriment to the mental psyches of players. Some open worlds create environments that evoke a sense of loneliness and abandonment through desolate landscapes, no matter how good the game may be. Think Fallout 76 and Red Dead Redemption 2, where yes, maybe the concept of the story requires there to be vast bouts where you're on your own, exploring the landscapes of a desolate nuclear wasteland, as well as the reimagined Wild West in 1899, both realistically had little social interactions for a nomad as these protagonists. Though when there are psychological incentives to put in time, completing achievements or missions, and hours upon hours of grinding required to accomplish, this creates a mechanized desolation, if you will. With excessive gaming habits from many whom grew up with the hobby alongside, especially with open worlds, some may even prioritize the virtual world over real-life interactions, as in many of these cases, the dopamine achieved from in-game objectives may very well outweigh those of real life. Once deemed with the rest of the video game addicts, there seems to be a unique trait to open world addiction, leading to many times heightened levels of social isolation and disconnection. Since differing from other games, many aspects of these titles feel like real life, with comparable actions and behaviors in which humans would be involved in, our brains are tricked to thinking the time spent as being effective. I think we're all also aware of the toxic multiplayer environments of some of these games, evolving from the vernacular in Call of Duty lobbies throughout the early 2000s, can potentially expose players to toxic interactions with little social repercussion.
It was when I was killed.
Often due to the anonymity of these multiplayer servers. That's why many of us have slowly been pushed to default with muted mics when in most multiplayer lobbies, unless I have an actual actual friend playing with me, the odds of finding someone to legitimately play with through randoms are slim. With the abundance of griefing and trolling in Red Dead Online, GTA Online, and many other open world servers, playing some titles, the best choice would just be going solo in your own world. But let's face it, the level of relevancy that open world titles like GTA 6 still have in pop culture is undisputable. And we're all most likely still going to go out next May to cop the 6th rendition ourselves to see what the hype was all about. So, as long as Rockstar doesn't all of a sudden switch to an indefinite updating structure like many Battle Royale games have, we'll be somewhat fine. I guess. Just don't pull a Ubisoft, whatever you do.
From the light.
This resurgence marks a stark Chang. Ha! Oh, that was such a good show. In these 4 years, they were developing a patented.